Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Happy date night. It's Saturday night. I hope you guys are all dressed down and relaxed and you have your projects and your drinks and things. I hope you guys are all well. I have a nice tall glass, or not glass. What is this? It's definitely not glass, right? Anyway, I have this in tow. Hello, hello, Laura and Penn and Jeannie and Becky and all you wonderful folks. Come on in. I'm going to give it a second. So, hi, Tie-Dyed On. How are you? I gave Mishy the link at the last possible minute. So, Mishy, if you're watching, check your messages. I did give you the link. I'm so sorry. I'm very 2000 and late. I'm always so late. Oh, my. So I'm just uploading my laptop, letting all of this load in. So I'm just going to give it another moment. Give me 1 second. Let me retry this. I'm trying to log in on the laptop, so I can see the comments because I can only see a little bit, So a blanket hello to all of you wonderful folks. I'm just going to reboot this again. Restart. Going to restart the laptop. Anyway, hello Brenda and CJ and Tammy and Krista. Dee Dee, hello. How are you? I can't even talk. CJ Crochet. It's when the coffee's too hot and you're trying to talk and it doesn't come out the way it should. Hello Julie from England. How are you? Hello Adiko. How are you? Mom as well. All things considered, hello Shannon. How are you? Yes, icky weather, I hear. It's literally everywhere, Hello, spring. Welcome in. Hello, hello. How are all of you wonderful folks? I hope you guys are all well. Hello, Kim. How are you? Hello to everyone. Come on in. As soon as this loads, I'll be able to see more of the chat. I do apologize if you're messaging me and I can't see you. Don't worry, I promise I'm not ignoring you. I'm well. I spent most of the day just trying to catch up on all the things. I've been really busy. We did get snow. We did. We wound up with a few inches, but most of it melted. Yeah. Cherry, give Nana June huge hugs for me, please. I hope you guys are staying warm. Mishy is hopefully coming on. I sent her the link at the last minute. It's actually my fault because I was trying to do the laptop and it just wasn't working. But I did send her the link. So once I see her in here, I will add her up. But if I have to change the thumbnail, I will. No big deal. So good evening, everyone. Happy date night. I see a bunch of you guys coming in here. So Saturday night is something that I just started recently. It's a place where we can hang out, dress down, bring your crochet, your knitting, your whatever it is that you want to bring, your drink, and let's just hang out and have a good time, So yes, you have your whip. Great. So I have several whips here. I don't know which I'm going to start with, honestly. I have this. I've shown it. I've been making some severe progress here. This is Picasso Ice Yarns in the purples. See, since I last placed the stitch marker, I've made significant progress. So look at me go with this Picasso Ice Yarns, right? My first time crocheting with it. Hi, Karen. Welcome in. And Stephanie and Eleanor. Hello. Happy date night. So I'm just going to keep going with this, right? We'll see what happens. It's all the things. So anyway, I'm working this up, as I mentioned before, with a 4.5mm crochet hook, right? So we have that. And then I put out a tutorial today, a few hours ago, the Angel's Gate shawl. Many of you guys have asked for it. It's there. Please watch it. I would appreciate it, right? Let's see. Fibers Spider, you're in here. Hello, hello. As soon as the laptop comes up, maybe if you're up for it, for some company. I'm waiting for Mishy to come up. We'll see. Anywho, let me show you the things. Hold on. So I used this one for the tutorial. This is all Red Heart Super Saver. Look at the colors, right? So we have turquoise, we have lavender, and we have lilac, I believe, and then Aran. So see how nicely it just sits over the shoulders? So nice. So yeah. Anyway, I have this as a whip, right? And what else? I have my entrelac in the round in the rectangle. I have that going. Let me get the YouTube up. Oh, this laptop is just giving me all the things I don't want it to give me. Let's see. Now, I wish I was able to... How can I send you a link? Because I'm using my phone, right? I'm using my phone to use StreamYard, and then... So how would I send him a message? I'm very curious. I have no idea. YouTube. Okay, so anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to date night. What are we all drinking? What are we all working on? Tell me the things. Tell me what's going on. I would love that for us. Please, please, please. Okay, so I see me there. I'm on my YouTube right now. Let me get in here. I'm trying to figure out where I sent the link. I wonder if I close out of here, will it close out the StreamYard? I wonder if I try that. I'm not sure. Does anyone know? I don't want to close you guys out and then have it like not work. You know what I mean? Choices, right? Let me see here. I should have sent the link through. Can I minimize the screen on the phone? Let me see. Okay. Not sure if that's working or not, but I'm going to try something very quickly. Copy. And paste. And do that. And hopefully I can bring you guys back up. Am I back? I think I'm back. Hello, Denise. Welcome in here. I had to send a link to someone, you know? It's fine. You see me now? Hi, Denise. It's okay. It's okay. Well, listen, if we wind up with no guests, you have me. It's fine. We love this for us, right? I'm trying to pull up my live stream here. I'll get there eventually. Oh, there's someone there. There he is. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you know how
Been a while.
It's so difficult to send a link while you're live on your phone, right? But we
Yeah,
do.
well, that's the thing. I mean, I only have my phone, so I can only imagine. And I've never had a guest while doing a live, so I don't know the ins and the outs and all that jazz. I'm sure Russ knows, because he does lives like nobody's business, but I'm not privy to that information yet, you know. How are you?
I'm really well. I've been super busy, but
Understood.
here. How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I think it my life is a whip, okay? My life is a work in progress, you know. So, you know, it's one of them things. But it's funny though, because when you texted earlier, I was on a live with Russ. I woke up, he's like, I'm going live. I'm like, I just woke up, so I still got bedhead, even though it is 7 p.m. here. Um, yeah, I still got bedhead. Because I was on with him for like over an hour, and because you had intimated that you might be doing lives on Saturdays, and I'm like, well, not on a Saturday that I work, but on a Saturday that I don't work, I'm definitely much more, you know, able to participate. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm honored that you're here.
Well,
So
thank you.
yeah, well, this is something new that I'm doing, Saturday night date night. And so, yeah, all the folks on the YouTube streets, we come together, we hang out, dressed down, of course,
That
because,
that's my that's my autopilot mode of dressing down.
right?
I
And
don't dress up.
well, good. That's perfect for us. So, yeah, I mean, I've seen you on other live streams, which is totally cool. But what took me by surprise was you went live.
I know I hadn't in like 3 years, and it was just sort of like, well, it's New Year's, it's kind of a special occasion, and I really didn't do anything like holiday oriented, kind of thing. I mean, the closest to that was like some crocheted snowflakes, but I didn't do like, Santa hats and Christmas stockings and all sorts of stuff. No, I was just very low key. I think it's because I think I got bitten by the Grinch just a little bit,
Yeah.
or the Scrooge or what have you. I just kind of wasn't feeling it. Like last year, I was totally into the Christmas spirit. This year, not so much, because last year kind of burned me. Um, but so I was just sort of like, all right, I'm gonna do my own little Grinch thing in my own little quiet way. But for New Year's, I decided to do a live. It was totally unplanned. Um, but it was fun. It was stressful because the chat was going by like a ticker tape on crack. So it was kind of stressful because I had my own train of thought of what I wanted to talk about, but I
Yes.
also wanted to answer questions that were being asked, and I wanted to interact with the chat. And I was like squirrel, 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 wombat, squirrel, you know, you know.
Oh,
So,
that's
and
too.
I get very freaked out very easily.
Well, can I just tell you that I think you were awesome. I think you did such a great job for
Thank
it being,
you.
yeah, your first time in 3 years, and it seemed like you've been doing it every day. Like, so I think that was awesome. And
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
yes, I mean, for what it's worth, nowadays everyone is going live. I think it's like the in thing. People are just rather, I mean, they're wanting to just pop YouTube on and see who's on the YouTube streets and just use it as like a social networking type of a thing. And to see you come up is amazing. So, more of that, please.
Well, thank you. But I mean, I guess one of the reasons why most of the times where I'm not doing a project, it's more of like a vlog style. It's like, I got some happy mail and I want to give thanks to whoever it was that sent it. And, whether it's cards or packages, I mean, packages are always more fun, let's be real. But cards, the thought is there and it's totally appreciated. And, sentiment is worth something. And I always like to give appropriate thanks. The reason why I like those is that there's a definite structure to it.
Yeah.
And I don't get freaked out by too much stimulation, because I'm way too sensitive for my own good. I will be the first to admit it. Um, when I'm at work and I'm on the phone and I've got a couple of coworkers who are chit-chatting right next to me, and then there's like a program going on, so there's a lot of people and patrons milling about. I get totally like sensory overloaded.
Yeah.
I feel like I need like a pair of those noise canceling earmuff headphone things. I get really, really freaked out, and I don't know if it's like a dissociative disorder, psychological thing, or honestly, I don't know. But I get really freaked out, and I get like very, very hypersensitive to things. So when I'm doing a vlog style video, I feel like I can edit, I can control it more, and I feel more at ease.
Yeah.
Um, uh, with the live streams, they have their place too, and they're fun, but I get really freaked out.
Yeah. I mean, I know exactly what you mean by that. Um, and I guess it's like a choice, right? Uh, so for me, working some crazy hours through the week, like my day job pulls me away from YouTube for about 60 to 65 hours a week. So some days I have no time to create, edit, upload at all. The only choice I have is to sit down and press the live button because that's all I'm able to do. And, a lot of times I'm like you, I'm wondering, okay, well, I'd rather sit, record, edit, control, upload so I have a say on like what actually happens because you're susceptible to whatever happens when you press that button, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I mean, it's like back in the day when television shows were live, bloopers were a thing. Now there aren't any bloopers. Now the bloopers are on the extras on the DVD box set, but back then bloopers happened, I mean, great example, awesome sauce example for a little bit of a tangent, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
Um, Honeymooners.
Hmm.
One of those episodes, it was so perfect. It was off the cuff. It worked. It was Ralph Cramden, he was always into the get rich quick schemes. And he wanted to sell these. It was called the Happy Handy Housewife Helper. And it was basically like a Swiss Army knife of the kitchen where it, would core an apple, it could open a can, it could sharpen knives. And so he was doing this commercial, like he was trying to sell these.
Hmm.
And, he bought them cheap and he wanted to sell them more expensive, of course. And so he was doing a demonstration. And part of it, as he was working with it, part of it flew off. It broke.
Oh my.
It's like, how do you recover from that? He's like, maybe we could do something about spear fishing. And it was just off the cuff and it was a blooper, but he made it work.
Yeah.
That's the mark of a true artist, being able to do something improv, ad lib. I'm not able to do that necessarily. So when you're going live, it's like you become either, like a deer in the headlights, or you become, Kung Fu Panda. It's like either you go with it or it goes with you. You know,
Yeah.
so it's tricky. It's very tricky. And also, what a lot of people don't seem to realize is um, the overwhelming numbers are there. I don't know about if it's a majority or not, but the overwhelming numbers are that us YouTubers, I know I speak for myself, the reason why we're YouTubers is because we're socially dysfunctional. And it's easier for us to talk to people through a screen, a filter, as opposed to actually talking to people in person. Like if I was talking in front of a group of people, oh God, I'd be a hot mess. I would be like the Wicked Witch after a bath. I would melt into a little puddle, whimpering and screaming and freaking out. Um, it wouldn't go over well.
Well, I can tell you for me, um, I'm similar to that where social dysfunction is there in that when, I mean, for my day job, I have to speak to large groups of people, but it's that filter of being able to respond back. I like this because I can say all the things and then turn it off. Whereas in real life, you're there, people can actually respond back to you, and you have to sit there and listen to it. And then you have to respond based off of what you're hearing. So
Hmm.
having this, there's that wall that you can actually put up. And that's what I like about it.
Right.
Oh,
Because I mean, I work, the circulation desk at a library. So I mean, I deal with people all the time, but it's one at a time.
yeah.
Um, and so, I mean, that's easier. And when COVID happened, we had this sheet of clear plexiglass in front of us and the patrons.
Yeah.
I loved that. I loved that because between that and wearing a mask, it was like I had something between me and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
There were disadvantages to it, of course, um, but I kind of liked having something between me and everybody else. And that's also actually how I look at my glasses. I have something between me and the world. Um, you know, uh, so it's like if I were to ever consider getting like LASIK or contacts or something like that, actually, I like the glasses. You know,
Yeah.
I feel naked without them, quite frankly.
Oh my. Well, listen, I just saw Mishy pop up in the backstage. Mishy, hello. I see you in the audience. If you're able to pop back in here, come on in. I just saw you. And a huge hello to each and every one of you guys. Thank you all for being here. Uh,
I
we have 395 in the house right
Oh
now.
my.
Oh
By the
yeah.
way, I can't see the chat, so if I'm not like responding to anybody in particular, please do not take it personally. I can't see the chat. I just see Juan's pretty face.
Oh, thank you. Yes, like, share, subscribe, do all the things, guys.
All
If
the
first
things.
time you're seeing us, please do all the things.
Yes.
So we had a huge spike of people coming in here. So let me just go ahead and tell you guys very quickly what date night is. It's something that I created a few weeks ago to just be able to bring everyone in the fold to hang out, no agenda. Just come on in, bring your yarn, bring your hook, bring your knitting needles, your coffee, your drink, and just hang out and relax. Dress down is required. If you wear muumuus, wear those. Sweats, all the things. Dress down. That's kind of what we're doing here. And every now and then I'll have guests. This week, I'm fortunate enough and thankful that I have people that are willing to come up here. So thank you, Craig. And
Well,
then
you're so very welcome.
yeah, and then when Mishy, I mean, I've been trying to get Mishy to come up for such a long time, and our schedules have been just back and forth, bat crap crazy. And so, yeah, this is really exciting to have both of you guys here. So that's awesome. And you know what? In the future, if there are people in the audience that, want to come up, just let me know. And again, this is very informal and, you know, laid back and relaxed. So, anyway, Craig, that
Yes.
tutorial that you put out today. Um,
Did you mean this?
yes, that Craig. It is gorgeous. I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
Um, Actually, it's funny though because you know I can't just do one thing. Like the projects are like potato chips, right?
Right.
You can't just do one. One is never enough. So I'm already working on another project. That one was a scarf. This one, it's a blanket. Um, and so yes, yeah, I see. You're like evil genius.
Yes. I love that.
So actually, I did give a sneak peek when I was on Russ's stream earlier. And so I'll give you a sneak peek too. This is actually going to be for February. And it uses the same technique, also using Pound of Love in pumpkin spice and antique white.
Ooh.
And this is what we got going on, peoples.
Oh yeah. That looks like a parquet floor.
Well, and the back is even more funky.
Oh yeah. That's amazing. I
Thank
love that.
you.
Craig.
So it's sort of like a basket weave, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yes.
And so I've been working on this for a while now. And because it's like 45 inches wide, and it's going to be a full-sized Afghan.
Look at you go. That is
A lot of
beautiful.
work. Thank you. I already worked an entire skein of Pound of Love in the pumpkin spice. And the antique white, I have this much left. The antique white is the recessive passive color. The pumpkin spice is the dominant color. And so you end up using more of it. But whatever. So that is what I am currently working on, among other things as well. Um, you know, can never leave well enough alone. You know how I am.
Yes. I have to ask you a question that I think
Yeah,
only you can answer. Maybe, I don't know. So, okay, as a content creator that puts out tutorials and all the things, right?
yeah.
How
What's
do you
up?
how do you balance what to show, what not to show, what are the nunyas, and because full disclosure, I love to tease projects and I love to give people little snippets of situations, right? And then I find myself like today, I released the Angel's Gate shawl. That was a members only pattern that I released, I think, 3, 4 months ago. And I gave a little sneak peek during a live, and then everyone wanted it. So then I had to backtrack, stop everything that I had on the hook right now to then go back and create a tutorial for something I had not planned on doing. And I mean, like, how do you balance that? Like, have you encountered that? Like, where you feel like your plate is full and then it starts to runneth over, so to speak?
Well, I mean, this I'm already planning on doing a tutorial next month for it anyway. And so I figure it's safe. As far as sneak peeks, the only instance in which I usually do that is if, for instance, I'm doing a vlog, Happy Mail type video on a Tuesday or a Thursday, and I already have the tutorial filmed or ready to be filmed for
Yes.
that weekend. That way, it's already in my plate. It's already in my wheelhouse. It's already going to be a thing. But
Yeah.
as far as, oh, I have this and I might do a tutorial on it, that you're setting yourself up, honey bunny.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you are in a place where you can do that, go ahead. But if you already have stuff going on, you might not want to open up that Pandora's box,
Yeah.
you know, because life has a remarkable way of happening. And
Yes.
like when you put stuff out there, you no longer have control of what happens to it when you put stuff out there. People might be like, and they grab a hold of it and they run with it, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It means that there's interest, which is good, but you got to keep up with that interest. So as far as what you put out there, I would say don't put out more than you can handle. And so like this it's not a big deal for me to show this because it's going to be happening. I mean, the vast majority of the project is already done, as you can see, and it's going to be sometime next month. So okay, like it's not a biggie. And it's utilizing the exact same technique. And I'm sure that people could have done a screenshot, figured out what I did, and then go with it. You know what? If that's what they want to do, that's what they're going to do. I can't control that any more than I can control somebody taking one of the patterns that they bought off of my Etsy store and then Xeroxing that 50 million times and then just passing it off to whomever. I can't control that. All I have to do is just go based on the decency of other people and be like, are you going to be respectful of my wishes and not do that? Or are you going to do that? Once I sell it, it's out of my hands.
Right.
And I can't get myself freaked out over it because people are going to do what people do regardless. And so I can't worry about that. Otherwise, it will drive you crazy. It
Yes.
will.
The
And I mean, me being driven crazy, it's a short commute. Okay. I save on gas.
yes.
Um, so I figure why contribute to my own bedlam? It's fine. You gotta pick your battles, you gotta pick and choose.
Yeah.
And just try not to overextend yourself too much because yes, it will not when, no, it will lead to some sort of burnout type situation.
Yes.
Um, so I mean, I get it. I totally get it. I understand because it's like, yeah, I also have my day job, and yes, I do this, and yes, sometimes the projects can take anywhere from days to weeks to months to prepare, depending upon what you're doing. and how complex it is and how big it is, So, I mean, there's a lot of planning involved, but it's a labor of love, and that's what we have to keep the focus on.
Right. For sure. I know for me, okay, so I put content out 7 days a week, right?
Oh, God, heaven help you.
Every day for not the entire 14 months. I want to say for like the
I'm
last,
sorry, 14 months?
yeah, yes. That's how long I've been on YouTube.
Oh, I thought you meant, dude, there's only 12 months in a year, dude.
Right now. So I've been on YouTube for 14 months, right?
Okay.
I want to say for the last 10 months, 7 days a week, I've been putting out content. 7 days a week for like the last 10 months. And I don't mind doing it because I do different things all the time. So it's not always the same thing.
Right.
But when you have all of the things, sometimes you lose track of like, what did I show and where did I show it and who did I show it to? And then which projects did I talk about? And because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So let me tell you, last year I talked about the Wancho Poncho ad nauseum. I designed it, I created it. It's like a Clint Eastwood type situation in my favorite colors, my design, whatever have you. So I talked about it. I've never shown it to this very day. Only my like admins. I think I've only shown it to maybe 5 people, period. And I've talked about it, but in between all the other things that I'm doing, there's literally like 2 minutes a week that I can sit down and work on it. So when people ask me about it, they're like, well, where is it? You're talking about it, you know? And so it's almost like one of those things. Do I just resign from the idea that it's ever going to be released? Or like, because you've already teased it, you've already talked about it. So at what point do you say, let's not talk about it, and it'll come when it comes?
Okay, well, if I may interject, you have the golden opportunity right here and right now. And now, no, I am not putting you on blast. I'm not. Okay, I am not going to put you on blast because I like you.
Okay.
What I am going to suggest, though, is you could do the oh so stereotypical thing. Dude, it's New Year's. It's for resolutions. You could try to make it your New Year's resolution to try to do it sometime this year.
Okay.
Not putting a definitive time frame on it other than 2025, which month? Well, you got a busy life, and you do produce a lot of content.
Yeah.
That's fair. So, you know, scooting in a little bit of time here, a little bit of time there, it's only January. You've got plenty of time in theory, um, life permitting, to do this project within the course of the year.
Yeah.
Now, to be perfectly honest, I hadn't heard a reference to the was it Wancho Poncho?
Yes. The Wancho.
Okay, okay. I hadn't heard about this until just now.
Oh,
Um,
well,
but
that's
if you've hyped it up, well, then, dude, you got to deliver at some point, because if you keep sort of thinking about it as the elephant in the room, um, it's going to be like this point of mutual resentment. Like, people are going to resent the fact that you put out the tease, but then you never delivered, and you're going to resent the fact that you did it to yourself.
yes.
Um, there's great line from a Radiohead song. You do it to yourself, and that's why it really hurts. You do it to yourself.
Yeah.
I love Radiohead. Um, I do. I saw them several times in concert, and they were absolutely fabulous. But I would say, you know, uh, tighten up those I cord bootstraps and go for it. You
Yeah.
know, don't
Yeah.
don't necessarily put like a definitive day on it, but try to make this your year for it.
Yes. This is going to be.
It's a gentle suggestion. I'm not
Yeah.
putting you on blast, but it's a gentle suggestion of, you know, making a mindful decision of grabbing, the bull by the horns, and making a concerted effort towards it if that's what you
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah, I love that idea because you know the name came from Jaxie, and she and I were talking about it, and she said, "Well, you should totally do it," and I said, I should totally do it too," and that's how it was born. And then through conversations, I was bringing it up here and bringing it up there, not making like full dialogue about it, but just putting it in people's ear that this is coming, this is happening, because it was on the hook. I was working on it, but I could only spend maybe 15 minutes a week on
Mhm.
it, you know. So, but
Well,
yeah, I should make it a goal for
the
sure.
other thing that I would suggest, and again, this is just a suggestion. Now I understand the sort of dire um, influence that the algorithm has on people. I get that.
Mhm.
I totally understand that. Michael from MDL, he talks about the algorithm being, the beast that won't be ignored or denied, on his channel. And, and I get that. But I also know my own limitations. At one point, yeah, I did like 5 videos a week. I never did 7. On my gaming channel, I used to do 7 days a week. And I was seriously burning myself out. I was
Yep.
burning the candle at both ends, and I had a little blowtorch right underneath the middle. I was burning my Bridget. I was burning myself at so many ends. And the thing is that content is great, but only if it's sustainable.
Yes.
Because if like another analogy, you're on a plane. It's going down. It's crashing. There's nothing happening that you can do to, rectify the situation. The plane is going down. The oxygen masks descend from the ceiling. Do you put the mask on yourself? Or do you run around the cabin trying to put masks on other people first, and then you end up asphyxiating?
That's a good point.
You got to
100%.
put it on yourself first so that you can then help that many more people.
Yep.
It's not a matter of being selfish, it's a matter of being sustainable,
Yep.
of being pragmatic. Because if you put the mask on yourself first, you then have the ability to go around that many more people, as opposed to a few people and yourself fall victim. So I mean, I'm not trying to give a completely dark, analogy
No,
here,
no,
but it's a way of, sort of the ends justify the means, or vice versa.
yeah.
So the thing is that I had to take that personal decision and limit myself to Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for the main channel. And on the gaming channel, it's every other day. Video games are, by comparison, a lot easier because I'm playing a video game,
Yeah.
you know? But when you think about it, it's a half an hour to an hour per video. That adds up,
Yep.
because if I did it every day, that's like a full, couple of shifts for me at work.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hours, 7 hours a week.
Yeah.
That adds up,
It does.
you know. And when you're doing that many videos with, content creation, it's not just the video itself, it's also all of the work before, during, and after as well. So
Yep.
I would say, for that sustainability, even though it goes contrary to the algorithm, it would mean that you would be more sustainable and less prone to burning yourself out. So, I mean, that's the bullet that I had to bite. And because I had to admit to myself, I was not doing myself any favors. And if I'm not doing myself any favors, I'm not going to be doing my viewers any favors either. Um, so that's my own personal decision that I had to make. To each their own. I mean, I can't handle stress very well. Um, and I know that about myself. So I limited and I pared it back to a level of productivity that I could keep up with, and I've been doing that for a while. But we all got to do what we do, what works best for us.
So I will tell you, after the year I had, I can comfortably say I can handle stress We're good there. However, comma,
There's always a caveat in there somewhere in
there's
there.
always a caveat, Craig.
Yeah.
So, all right, my following loves certain things that I do on my channel. Okay, they're very vocal about it. My whipping it with wands, they absolutely love when I do it, and I love doing it. I love nothing more than putting things on the hook and gabbing at the gums. Right? I can talk about things until the cows come home. I love doing it. The other thing that I love doing, but it's very time consuming, are the tutorials. So there are only 7 days in a week, and trying to balance all of that and still trying to figure out how to not burn myself at both ends, right? And still keep up with that beast that we call the algorithm, right? Because if you miss big, and you have to play catch up and do all the things. So I'm sitting here trying to, balance A and B to produce C, so to speak, and my audience, expects to see things on my channel. And it's my fault because I've given into that. I have been the one being like, all right, guys, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. So it's not like it's their fault. It's actually me that created that, and I'm just trying to find, for me, the balance on how to make that actually work. Because one, I want to continue doing the whipping it with wands. It's like your video games. It's really no thought to it. I just
Hmm.
sit here, work on my projects anyway,
Right.
except turn the camera on and I gab at the gums.
Right.
But it's the tutorials, right? So you're a tutorialist. You know exactly what I'm talking about. There's tutorials that can literally take an entire day, a whole day,
Yeah.
you let it. So
Yeah.
that eats up your time.
No,
Right?
I totally understand because the one that I just did, it was a two-parter, basically an hour per part. So, yeah, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Um, and then of course there's whatever editing you have to do and whatever back work that you have to do because, like, making up this scarf, this took a while to make. It didn't just happen. You don't just snap your fingers or click your heels together and Glinda just makes it go poof. No, it takes work. You know.
Don't, Linda.
It takes work. Um, and so, no, I totally get that. Um, but as far as appeasing the monster that is the algorithm, you know what? I sort of look at the algorithm as a whole, the comment section. Now, what I mean by that is comments are an interesting beast. They can be super nice and they can be super not nice. Okay. It really depends, because some people, they feel a little bit brazen with anonymity and they go with it and they just, they let you have it, and they get nasty. Some of them, by and large, not so much, but it does happen. And so the thing is that you have to sort of develop a bit of a thick skin when it comes to, reading what the general population is going to say. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes it ain't so nice, but you have to sort of develop, a bit of a numbed, thick skin to that sort of thing. Otherwise, it will break you. You
Yes.
know, if you are that sensitive to the vocalizations of other people, it will break you. So you have to sort of like tune out to it. And that is also what I try to do as far as the algorithm and the metrics and the this and the that and the other. I try not to focus on that quite so much. When I first started my channel, I focused on the subscriber count and the number of views and the demographics and all of the analytics. I focused on that stuff like I was in Wall Street and I was like watching that ticker tape go by, and I was like a Wall Street broker and I was driving myself crazy. When things were good, I was on top of the moon. When things were bad, I was not doing good. Let's just say that. And because I was so fixated on the numbers, and I was losing sight of why I was doing what I was doing in the first place. And so I had to stop looking at that stuff.
Oh goodness.
I had to put on the blinders. I had to stop looking at that stuff because it was preventing me from enjoying the process of why I was doing this in the first place. Now, I'm not saying completely disregard it,
Right.
but I'm saying that you should focus on, why we do what we do and why we do it and how we do it. What made you start your channel in the first place? What was your spark, your inspiration, your raison d'etre? Pardon the pronunciation. What was your reason for doing this in the first place? And sometimes you got to remember what was that motivating force in the first place, and you got to hang on to that. You know. Um,
In my case, it was a matter of finding it again, because when I started my channel, I came in head first with, right here in my heart. Like, I knew what I wanted to do with my channel. And as unseasoned and as cringy as it was, I knew that, like, this was something I wanted to do, right? I was thrown through a wrench, or the wrench was thrown into the clockwork about a month after I turned my channel on. And somehow I lost sight of why I pressed the button in the first place. And that wrench lingered for about 6 months before the wrench was finally let go. And once the wrench finally disappeared, I had to, I guess, go back and really figure out why I pressed the play button to begin with. But by then, I already amassed the following that I had to keep on board, because I worked very hard to keep my following there. And so I was doing self discovery and rediscovery at the same time through, the onslaught and all the things that were going on. So, now I do find myself in a different place. I look at that first video and I look at me now, that's two very different people, very different people. And that's because of everything that had happened. But now I'm sitting in a place now where, okay, I love what I do. I love my following. I love that they like what I do. Now, how do I balance what I do and what I've been doing for the last almost 20 years, right? In pharmacy, went to school for it, did all the things, almost 20 years. And now I have this YouTube channel that I have been cultivating and growing and planting seeds and watching the things grow. And now, like, I'm at an impasse because I'm looking over here and I can continue to grow this, but then I have this. And
all
so,
right. Well,
you know what I mean? I'm holding
no,
both.
I get it. I get it. Well, the thing is that you want to grow it. You don't want it to grow you.
Okay. Yep. There you go.
See, that's the thing. Now, the thing also is that, with your following, your Juanettes,
Yes.
your Juanitas, um,
My fellow,
with what?
my fellow addicts. We are
Right,
called.
with your fellow addicts,
Yeah.
Um, the thing about followings is that if they're loyal, okay, and if they like you for you,
Yep.
they will they will stick to you, you know? And so the thing is that if you have to take a step back, okay, they'll understand.
Yep.
If they really are here for you, they will accept it. I mean, life is flux. Life is change. And
Yeah.
sometimes, you got to make a change for you, you know. Now, by no means am I telling you what to do. I'm just saying what worked for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, because, I've been on the YouTube streets for like, I want to say 8 years or so,
Wow.
roughly speaking. And yeah, I've had to learn a thing or two, usually the hard way.
Yep.
Um, and so I've figured out things that have worked for me, and then there are things that didn't work for me. I mean, like I love doing a little of this, a little of that. I love diversification. To me, it is the spice of life. Now, is it conducive to the algorithm? No. No. No, it's not. Is it conducive to what everybody else wants to watch? No. No. But I enjoy doing it. And that's why I started doing this stuff in the first place, because I enjoy doing it.
Yep.
Now, that's the other thing that, a person needs to realize, whether they do or don't, they need to realize that um, you are never, and you can quote me on this, you are never going to make everybody happy. That's just not going to happen. And being content creators, generally, we aim to please. You know, it's great when we hit the nail on the head and we please a nice large number of people. It's an awesome feeling because everybody wins, but it doesn't happen all the time. It just doesn't happen all the time.
No.
Um, and sometimes we think that we're going to do a tutorial that's just going to knock it out of the park, and we're just, yeah, it doesn't happen. We were so excited, and I can't tell you the number of times that this has happened where I'm so happy with a project that I did, and then in the comment section I see, well, that's great, but can you do it in a different shape?
Oh, yes. Yes, that. Yep.
And on the one hand, it's constructive. On the other hand, it's kind of like a smack in the face, you know? And I understand where it's coming from, because, it's like you like the idea, but you don't like where it went. And I get that. I do. I totally get that. On the other hand, as a content creator, as a designer, you put so much into certain projects. Yeah, it's like you put, your blood, your sweat, your tears, and your sanity into these projects. And then when you read a comment like that, it's sort of like you just got the wind taken right out of your sails, you know, and it hurts. It does. It hurts.
Yep.
And being an overtly sensitive person, it's all the more so. And it kind of sucks. But it means that there's an interest, though. But as far as being able to please everybody, it ain't going to happen. It's never going to happen. But it just goes back to, you know, sticking to what makes you happy and what motivates you to keep going. Like when I do videos on me playing board games, those are never as popular as the crocheting videos. Never. It ain't going to happen. But I enjoy doing it. And it's another facet of me and things that I like to do aside from crocheting, just like the audiobooks or the cooking or the origami. It's other things that I enjoy doing because I have to keep in mind my original sort of mission statement, which was the 3 E's: enlighten, educate, and entertain, you know, and, bringing, you know, a bit of a hodgepodge of different things to the table that I enjoy doing. Crocheting, knitting, working with fiber arts, that is the backbone. But a backbone is a spine. There are limbs.
Yeah.
We've got arms, we've got legs, we have appendages, there are branches and offshoots. Nobody is just one particular thing, you
Yeah.
know? And I didn't want my channel to be, in my mind, stuck in a pigeonhole of I can only do one thing. I wanted to branch out, you know? And so that's why I decided, even at the cost of the algorithm, at the cost of the analytics, and at the cost of perhaps annoying people, I decided that it was going to be me staying true to me, and that's me facing my truth, you
Yeah.
know. And so that's why I, do other content on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where I work, with, board games or origami or cooking or whatever, because it lends itself to that sustainability, you know. If I were to do crocheting type videos, 3 times, 5 times, 7 times a week, I would burn myself out all the faster. I totally would. and I would lose that sense of sustainability, and I wouldn't be able to keep it up, and I would drive myself absolutely bonkers. I had to think of an appropriate word.
Yes.
um,
So
um,
I one time, not so long ago, I brought my kids out onto the channel, and by me saying my kids, my instruments. So I'm a classically trained violinist, and so I have a collection of violins, violas, and things. And I showed them. I didn't play them. I just showed them, and I could not believe the feedback that I got on my channel, because I am Juan the Yarn Addict. What am I doing with violins on my channel? So I hear you, and I am excited to know that there are channels out there that branch out and they do other things. Do you think that that could be the case with every channel? Or, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because,
well, what was the response? Like, did people want to hear it, or people were like, "What are you doing?"
right, I,
Which?
no, it was not well received for the most part. I want to
Hmm.
say it was an 80-20 split, 80 against 24. And I don't know why. I didn't think about the reasons behind it, but I have an idea. I do have the idea of creating like a sub account and doing all of those things over there. Have you ever thought about doing that? And if you
I
have,
did do that.
you did do
That
that.
my gaming channel is a completely separate entity. I mean, it's Fiber Spider Games, you
Oh,
know.
okay.
And so yeah, I mean, I love playing the video games, but I knew in the back of my head that if I was playing Resident Evil
Yeah.
on a channel that the main demographic, is, you know, uh, uh, it's, I would say, probably women in their, like, 40 to 70-year-old range,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that might alienate a couple of people.
Yes. Yes.
Me decapitating zombies wouldn't go over well with some of my viewers, and I get that. I mean, my commentary generally is very mild. Like I do not curse up a stream like, I've got like like a truck driver with Tourette's. No, I do not curse up, and whatnot. Sometimes the characters in the games do, but I don't. You know. Um, and I mean, the range of games that I play, it's a wide range. Sometimes I play something that's very cute and fluffy and cozy and adorable. Sometimes I play something that's a bit more gritty, bloody, and gruesome. I have a wide spectrum. I don't play just one kind of game. But I knew that if I were doing video games on my main channel, that would totally alienate people. And
Yeah.
also, as far as the whole three E's, enlighten, educate, and entertain, it has the entertain, but there's nothing educational about it. There's nothing enlightening about it. It's just pure entertainment. With the audiobooks, there is sort of like an intellectual kind of thing that I can be like, well, it's classical literature, it's been around for a long time. It has some credence to it. But the games, that's why I did do that second channel. Now, the second channel, I want to say maybe 1,700 subscribers on there, which is a drop in the bucket compared to my main channel.
Right.
And that's okay,
Right.
because I know that the gaming channel industry niche, I am nothing. Okay. I have absolutely nothing. I am a blip. I am a blipette in that niche, and I'm okay with that because it's still something that I enjoy doing. But
Yes.
I did create that as an offshoot. Now, if you did your playing of music on an outside channel, more than likely that will probably follow suit with the same sort of ratio that I have between my main channel and my gaming channel. You know, you will have some people that subscribe and join and listen and enjoy that. Yeah, more than likely you will. The ratio will be different though. You know,
Yeah.
That's my personal experience. The ratio will totally be very skewed. Um, Now, I don't see anything wrong whatsoever with incorporating music into your main channel. I think that that would be a lovely addition. That's just me personally, because also you could you could incorporate that as opposed to like a whipping it with wand. It could be, you know, uh, stitching music, something to listen to while you're stitching, you know, and because some people they have like audiobooks on while they're stitching or ASMR stuff while they're stitching. Why not, cater to music for when a person is stitching?
I could be
I see, pardon?
I could be background music, background noise. Just
Yeah,
while you crochet, play me while you knit, and all the things. I think
yeah.
that's. But Craig, I do have to tell you, while you were speaking, I saw in the comments from Mara. She's got a channel here on YouTube, Mindfully Crocheted by Mara. She came up with the perfect name. And Mara, if I ever do it, I'm probably going to take the name. It's called More Than a Yarn Addict. And that would be like the sub channel name. And it would be for all the things that are not yarn related. I mean, it's genius. More than a yarn addict. I think that's amazing. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I think that's
And I see nothing wrong with creating an offshoot, because I mean, I've done it, but just keep in mind that the following will be different.
yeah,
The reception of it will be different. And the only reason why I have like I think anybody on the gaming channel is because I plug it on my main channel. Otherwise, nobody would know about it. Um, I am no PewDiePie. I'm no Markiplier. I'm no Jacksepticeye. Those are all big, big game channels. And they've got like millions of subs on their channels. They are the crochet crowd of the gaming community. They are the crochet crowd, uh, the Bag a Day, the Jada and Stitches, the good knit kisses, of the gaming community.
yeah.
So I personally think that what I would do, this is what I would do, is perhaps as an experiment, try to do a music video, if you will, where you're playing, and present it as such. This is music for you to pop on while you're stitching, and enjoy as, your background music kind of thing. Present it as such, and see how it goes over. And then go based on that, as opposed to just starting from scratch with a completely new channel, see what happens. I mean, what have you got to lose?
Just
You
subscribe.
know,
But there's plenty more where that came from.
I mean, the thing is that if you completely switched gears and went from just all of your videos from now on are just music, yeah, that would probably rub a lot of people the wrong way if all of a sudden you completely switched gears. But if it is used as a slight side piece, a side dish to
Yeah.
your main entree, I see nothing wrong with that. That's just me and my personal opinion. Take it
Right.
for whatever you will and what it's worth. Um, it's not so far-fetched, it really isn't.
No. I think it's a great idea. I think that if I were to do it as an experiment, I would probably make sure that I don't pull any sheet music. I would
Oh,
just do like a practice session and just do like scale work and just play around with the instruments, and I guess to kind of acclimate my audience to what it is that I do when I play, and see where that takes us. Because I mean, if I played Vivaldi's Four Seasons, I'm going to have emails, not from the viewers, but from the people being like, what did you think you were doing with that on your channel, and you're a monetized channel? Like, no, you can't do that.
that's exactly the point that I was going to make, though, is that Russ has gotten into trouble with music because Kevin, he plays the piano beautifully, but you have to be very careful with copyrights.
Yes.
So you need to, if you are going to play, you know, a recognized piece and so forth, it has to be public domain. You
Right.
got to be very careful with that, because otherwise, yes, you will get smacked. You know, and that's why when I do audiobook narrations, it's stuff from the public domain. Otherwise, I will get myself into trouble. As much as I would love to read certain books that are more contemporary, I will get myself into trouble, and that's not worth it.
Yeah.
So I think that do you compose anything yourself? Do you like do you like ad lib and improvise and create your own music at
Yeah.
all?
Yes.
Oh, do.
I do. And that's another thing too. When you ad lib and when you, I guess, do a runoff of something, like for instance, Vivaldi Four Seasons, my favorite season is winter. So when I play it, I also have like an alternative way that I play it that sounds similar to it, but it's not quite it. And I just wonder, if I went off on a riff and did my own thing, would it actually pick up as a suggested copyright issue? I mean, I don't know how that works, but I would imagine that it would at least be questioned or questionable because of how similar it sounds, but
Mhm.
I'm not really sure how that works, but it's worth
Okay,
it.
well, what I would do, okay, in that particular case, when in doubt, by no means don't do this live.
Why not?
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Now, don't do it live, at least not until not initially until you know what the scoop is.
Right.
What I would do is I would record what it is that you're thinking of recording, whatever sort of, riff off of the original that you were thinking of doing, record that,
Right.
upload it, but don't hit publish. And the thing is that I've had this happen before where, way back in the day, I would experiment with different music clips. Some of them were copyright, some of them were not copyright. And so I didn't hit publish yet, but I had posted it and it was still private. And I would get a notification saying, oh, there's a copyright thing here, or there's a copyright thing there, and then I wouldn't publish that video. I would try again with some different music. So the thing is, you sort of get the heads up before you hit the publish button as to whether or not there's going to be an issue,
That's a
you
really good
know.
point there.
So the thing is, they give you the heads up without smacking you because it hasn't been published yet. You know, if you just hit publish and then you got smacked, then you could run into some ramifications. That's my understanding of it anyway. I am not a lawyer. I am not a YouTube professional in that sense of the word, but that is something that I have come in contact with. Now, there are instances where there will be a copyright claim, not a copyright strike. And
Right.
that happens most often with when I'm playing a video game. And in the video game, there is music in the video game that I can't edit that out. And I just have to deal with it. And then so there is a claim so that whatever money I might have made on that video then goes to whoever did the music. And so it's on those videos, I just have to bite the bullet. I just deal with it. But I haven't gotten like one of those where it's a copyright strike, where like your channel is in danger. It's just you end up losing out on the monetization aspect. Now that would be my guess, that you would have to deal with claims, not strikes, but that would still hurt, and I get that. So I would try to experiment with what I had mentioned before, where you upload but don't publish. You wait to see if there are any flags that pop up, and if not, then go ahead. That's my opinion. You
Yeah.
know, take it for what you will and for what it's worth. Um, I mean, I think it's a great idea. And I think that some people will genuinely like it. Some people will genuinely not like it, and they will let you know.
They
People
have.
love people love expressing themselves. It's part of human nature.
They,
But yeah, just keep in mind, as always, you are not going to be able to please everybody. That is just not going to happen. But will it make you happy? Will it sustain you? Will it nourish your creative interests? Will you find that it's worth it for you to sort of share a little bit more of yourself, in that particular area,
yes,
I don't see anything wrong with it, but I would experiment, see how it's received, and, experiment. I see nothing wrong with that.
I love that. And, furthermore, when you talk about experiment, I'm on this little kick right now where I told you how when I started my channel, I had this frame of mind that, I wanted to go into this whole thing with. And I'm revisiting that. And that's kind of where my head has been lately. And I'm in a good place right now. I have taken somewhat of a step back mentally to just reassess and figure out like what it is that I want, but also to the connections that we have across, the YouTube streets, the relationships that we've established. Like, because let's be honest, 14 months ago when I pressed my button, I had no idea that I'd be sitting here on a live stream with you, you know?
Well,
So,
vice versa.
right, it's something to be said that it's a good thing. So like when we reassess and we think about, okay, well, what are we going to be doing going forward, revisiting the passion behind what it is that we do and why do we do it and how to make that work for us. So I guess it's a process. I think it's just something that it's ongoing. There is no like immediate fix. It's just something that has to be like worked on and worked at, and that's
It's
kind of.
very organic
Yes.
because also like YouTube itself is a very organic entity, if you will. It's always changing, it's always in flux.
Yep.
And once you think that you understand how it works, they throw you another curveball because I mean, I have been doing this long enough to have seen various apocalypti,
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
uh, where some people they lose their entire livelihood because the rules changed to such an extent where the content that they were producing is no longer out of vogue, not permissible, etc.
Yeah.
At one point, it used to be where the regulations were so stringent that if you cursed at all, that was it. You were toast. Then they changed it to where it's like if you curse after the first X number of minutes, then
Yeah.
that was okay. Or if you said something, that was off-colored, it had to be. It couldn't be directed at a particular person, but it could be like a generalized sentiment. There were so many of these regulations that changed. And then there was the whole Copa Kappa thing that happened, and that ruined a lot of people.
Wow.
You know about that or no?
I don't. I have no idea.
Okay. That was the Child Online Protection something act where there were people that were exploiting younger viewers by creating content that was monetized, that had comment sections opened, and they were basically exploiting the fact that a lot of parents use YouTube as a babysitter, and they were getting all of these children viewers and using them for their algorithm and ad revenue and this and that and the other, and then COPA happened, and so now that's why whenever you create a video, you have to say, is it made for kids or not? Because if it's made for kids, well, then it's like the comments are taken off, the likes and the dislikes are taken off, and your ad revenue is, adjusted accordingly.
Wow.
Completely different animals.
Yeah.
So there were channels that were essentially doing videos that were for kids and everything was colorful and cartoony, but they were exploiting the YouTube babysitter, aspect,
Wow.
and they were totally exploiting the system. There are ones that weren't, but there are ones that were, and it was because of that that had to step in, and there were a lot of channels that were ruined as a result of that, whether they had the exploitive qualities or not. And so that freaked out a lot of people. And that was a couple of years ago. That wasn't yesterday, but it was a couple of years ago, but it was still, recent enough where a lot of people are still recovering from that one. So the thing is that just give it, mark my words, give it time. There
What?
will come a day where there will be some monumental astronomical change that will happen that will make you completely reassess your life's choices.
Listen,
It could happen. I'm not saying it will, but I'm like, yeah, it could happen. And then all of a sudden it's like you got to reacclimate again, you know.
okay.
And right now, whenever you publish you're about to publish a video, it also say, is there any computer generated
Oh yeah,
um,
all that.
yeah, it's like, is there any AI in your video? And I noticed that within the past couple of months. I'm like,
That was new. That's something new.
right, right. It's like that they didn't really say anything to us that was going to be a thing, but all of a sudden, boom, it was a thing. It was in the YouTube, the studio, the YouTube studio editor thing. And all of a sudden, that was a thing that you then had to click on yes or no. Every time you post a video, you have to say whether it is for kids or not, if it's AI generated or not. They keep adding new things, so you have to deal with it. You have to acclimate. And there's this constant acclimation that we have to undergo as they decide to keep changing new and fun and fabulous things.
Yes, absolutely. So listen, Craig, I don't mean to change the
Yes.
subject, but I have some questions because I'm nosy and I want to know all the things. So
Well, if you're being too nosy, I will tell
yes,
you so. But if not, it's fine.
they're general questions. So
Yes. What's up?
I okay. So you may have said this in your videos, but is your favorite color green, or is it taupe, or is it's somewhere in that vicinity? I want to say it's like green. Is green your color?
Okay. Well, to be honest, I would say the green family, shades of green. The only green that I think is anathema. It is the Devil's Playground, Kelly Green.
What? 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 what, are you, what are you doing?
I'm gagging. I hate Kelly Green. It's the most unnatural excuse for the shade of green. Like whenever St. Patty's Day rolls around and there's like Kelly Green everywhere, I cringe and die inside.
Oh,
Um,
I'm like, what are you even doing right now? And now I know it's the ick. It's the ick.
Kelly Green
Oh,
is unnatural. Give me sage, give me olive, give me moss. Even grass green can be remotely acceptable, but it's just, like the dusty, rich, verdant greens. I love those greens. Even oregano, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Um,
okay.
I'm
So,
going Garfunkel on you.
right.
Um, but uh, like those greens, or earth tones in general, shades of brown, not no 50 shades of gray, no, 50 shades of brown. Okay. um Autumn colors, rusty, rich golden, autumn fall colors, like a mustard or a brick, a terracotta, even an eggplant, just rich, bold, earthy colors, with an autumn chill nip in the air, those are my Jimmy Jam. Jewel tones can be cool too, depending upon the project, but I am a freak for autumn, earthy kind of
Oh,
colors.
well, tell me the things, Craig. Give me a color. What is the color? Give me a color, Craig.
You gave me the opportunity to be vague, so I was.
We want a color, Craig. What is the color?
Eh,
I know it's
I
such
feel
a
like I'm stepping into a trap.
well, no, just curiosity has gotten the better of me because I listen to your videos and I hear you talk about all the things. More specifically, there was a video you did where you talked about Mandala Centaur and how you absolutely just love the colorway. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, this isn't green because in another video, you talked about how much you loved that olive drab green. And I'm like, well, now I'm confused. What is this color? So tell me the.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna quote Carol Ann from Poltergeist Part 3. A woman has the right to change her mind.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Do you know the movie?
I've seen it, but listen, I want to tell you that if I were to pick for you, it would probably be not even a green. I don't even think, I mean, you like green, but if you loved green, it would have been the first thing that you would have said. I think that more of like a brick or like what color is that?
Like a pumpkin spice, like the one that I'm working on right now?
Ice,
You
a
mean like that?
terracotta. Yeah, like something along those like a sandy color. And
Well,
that could
because
be
this pumpkin spice, it's a little bit warmer, like the green, it's a little bit cooler. The brick, the rust, it's a little bit warmer. But the thing is, I mean, pigeonholing me into one color,
sorry.
I mean, pardon?
I said I'm sorry, Craig.
No,
I mean,
you're fine. You're fine. I mean, the thing is, I am working on a project right now,
right?
actually. I got stuff falling over here. I am working on a project right now. This is the Pound of Love in the colorway of, I, I,
Olive.
I think it's olive. Sorry, I'm looking.
Olive drab, maybe?
Ah, I got it. I got it. Um, Olive. Yeah, it doesn't say olive drab, but yeah, this is the um, Pound of Love in the colorway of olive, and I'm working on a project with this right now, and I love it. Absolutely love it. Um, and it is definitely one of my favorites. But I can't just say, "Oh, this is my definitive thing." When I was 16, black. I was a total goth.
Okay.
I went through my, morbid Bela Lugosi days, and it was all about the color black, and that was it. Because black goes with everything. It's slenderizing, that helps. Um, and I mean, I still love wearing like charcoal gray or black or that sort of thing. But to say just one color, it's like, why do you think Crayola has the box of 64, huh?
So that they all can fall out of the box where there is only one left.
And it's impossible to get them all back in there. They come out, but getting them back in there, it's a beast.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm
Well,
sorry. I gave you like a really convoluted answer to a pretty simple question. I'm sorry.
it's okay. So I'm going to tell you my favorite colors, Craig, because I have two of them. So aubergine is number one, a deep dark purple. Love that.
Okay.
And the second color, I'm actually wearing it.
That is like a bright red.
It's a very bold, in your face Leo, like fire sign, like red. And that's totally it right there.
I would say that's like crimson.
Love it.
You know.
And I like to keep it broad, with the reds because the reds are so beautiful. Now, listen, if you put white into the red and it turns into that blank, Not a fan. We need to keep it red. So red is my favorite color, and purple, specifically the darker purples.
See,
So,
with me, I would say as far as the red family, give me a burgundy.
mm,
You know,
mm,
that rich, deep, you know, it's like an earthy red. It's sort of like an aged red wine, you
yeah.
know, very, very rich, very deep. Like the color of my car is more like the color of your hoodie right now. And it was not my first pick at
Ah,
all.
okay.
Because I wanted like a dark green or a gray, something more subdued. But that's what they had. And if I wanted to wait or if I wanted to spend more money, I could have gotten the color that I wanted. But I'm like, am I inside the car or am I outside of the car?
Good
So
point.
I picked the red and I named my car Dante and we're good to go.
Nice, nice. So, can I tell you, my vehicle is black, and it's an SUV, and I named her Edith.
Archie! Ow! Ow, Archie!
It's a Honda Pilot, and I named her Edith. Come on, Edie, let's go. We got places to be. Come on, Edie, we got to do the things. And I talk to Edie all the time.
Actually, do you know the actress Edith Massey?
The name sounds familiar. I can't put.
She she was a I'm using the term loosely. She was an actress in the John Waters movies.
Yes. Hmm.
She had red hair, and she had very interesting teeth. Um, and she was in a number of movies. She was in Desperate Living. She played Queen Carlotta.
Wow.
She played Cuddles, the friend of Divine in the movie Polyester.
Wow.
She was in a number of movies.
Wow.
Her acting was so bad. No,
Ah,
seriously, it was
yeah.
so bad that it was good. You know, the delivery was so awful.
Oh my stars.
No, it like, are you familiar with John Waters movies?
I know the name John Waters. I
He did
do.
Hairspray.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
he did Hairspray, Crybaby, Serial Mom, Pecker, Polyester, Desperate Living, Female Trouble. Um, he's done a lot of movies. You know, some of them are more mainstream and more renowned than others. I
Yeah.
think he did Cecil B. Demented. Um,
I gotta I gotta keep up with my movies here. I need to
well,
make
I
a.
worked at a Blockbuster. I have an unfair advantage. Um, but he did a lot of movies. And the thing is, the thing about John Waters and his movies is that they were all about being trashy, you know, to the nth degree, you know. Um,
Oh,
movies that would make a whore blush, you know. Some of them, the content is so graphic and objectionable that I won't even go into details.
oh,
Um, but I mean, like, whoa, like that's real? Oh yeah, that's real.
oh,
Um, yeah,
that's insane.
it is, but it's I mean, that was his filming style. It was all about shock value. And he was loved and hated for the exact same thing because his stuff was very, very graphic.
Yeah.
Um, and he started, I want to say, in the 70s. And then he picked up steam in the 80s and 90s. And he had names like Johnny Depp and Ricky Lake, getting into the films. I mean, Debbie Harry was in in Hairspray. Debbie Harry was in
Yep.
that.
Yep.
She played the mom of that obnoxious girl, Amber. Um, 1, 2, cha cha cha. You know, you got the little shoulder thing going on there.
Yes.
But yeah, John Waters. Oh my. But yeah, Edith Massey. Wow, we went on a tangent, didn't we?
It
But
happens.
yeah, Edith Massey. I mean, her acting. Oh wow. And then there was another actress in there. Her name was Mink Stoll. Yeah, she
Another one.
too. She too was also the delivery was so over the top that it was so bad that it was good.
Oh my. Now I'm
Yeah,
curious. I'm gonna have to go into my Netflix and start looking at some of the things. I'm
you
very
won't find them. You won't not on Netflix. You won't find them. Trust me.
what? Okay.
Yeah, well, that's because they're that on the fringe. You might find them on Amazon Prime or on YouTube. You'll find clips on YouTube, no problem.
Yeah.
But you will not find the whole actual movie on Netflix at all. No, you won't. You won't
Okay.
find them. You
Interesting.
might find Hairspray. You might find Crybaby or Serial Mom, but like his earlier, more fringe stuff, you won't find on there. But
Right.
if you're going to watch anything of his, I would personally suggest um, Polyester. That is hysterically off-colored. Polyester, Desperate Living. Um, oh, I forgot about Pink Flamingos. That's another. Oh, that. Wow.
Wow. I'll have to
Yeah,
look.
wow.
I have to check it out.
It's not for the squeamish or for the weak of stomach.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting. I just noticed
yeah.
a whole bunch of people. Hold on one second, Craig. Hi, Ola Joe and Panda and MDL. I've seen him in here. Fiber Jazz
Hi.
Rebecca and Matt. Hello to all of you wonderful folks. Thank you all for being here and hanging out with us. We
Jazz
went,
hands.
yes, we went off on a tangent and all the things. Hi, Jess. Um, so sorry. We just got deep into conversation and I didn't mean to like not say anything, but hello to all of you guys.
Sorry.
So
When I talk about movies, oh, I could go on forever. It used to be my job for decades, so it just sort of stuck with me. Sorry.
no, you're good. I listen. I need to thank you so much for coming up with me.
You're very welcome.
I honestly wasn't exactly sure how date night was going to go with the date because I've done these by myself. So this is the first time. You're the first one with company. So I'm super
Well,
happy to meet you.
thank
Um,
you. Well, I mean, I haven't been on a date in like a year now, so
so good. But so I didn't want to turn this into a marathon session. So I let me see. Yes, an hour and 32 minutes. Wow. And how many people are in here? We're at 449. That's amazing.
wow.
Still going strong.
See, you're loved. You're loved.
We're loved. It's a we thing.
This is your channel, honey bunny. I'm just piggybacking.
Well, it's fine. Well, listen, guys, it goes without saying, if you don't know who Craig is, please check out his channel. Excuse me. Fiber Spider is the name. The mods, can you please drop the link? Check out his channel. He's a tutorialist. He does all the things on his channel as well. I'm giving
Thank
you
you.
roses, so you're doing the things. Flowers, I think, is what they say on the YouTube streets. I'm giving you the flowers. Go check out his channel.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, absolutely. So, guys, date night. We are going to be wrapping up the date night. It's a Saturday thing, guys. So if there's anything going on the YouTube streets, just be sure to pop in here, say hi, and then go do your thing. We'd love to have you, even if it's for a few minutes. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for hanging out with us tonight. It's been amazing as always. And be sure to check out me and Mom tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're here every Sunday. We hang out, do our thing in here. So if that is of interest to you, please check us out. So that is all from us for now. You guys have a wonderful night, and we'll see you on the YouTube streets. Bye, friends.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Thank you, Juan.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Have a good night.